everybody. So I am back today with another dream as promised. Today I'm going to share with you the dream that I had about President Joe Biden. But first let me say excuse how I sound today, because every time I get ready to make a video or something, the enemy loves to try to attack my voice. Okay. This has been happening ever since um, I shared my testimony on YouTube about how I was healed trying during worship while I was driving. The Lord miraculously healed me from a lingering symptom that I was dealing with from COVID almost 2 years ago, and I suffered with it silently. And so the enemy tried to shut me up. It was the same tactic he used against me, but in a different form when I was a little girl, because of the gift that the Lord has placed on me to see prophetically. So, yeah, before I got ready to come on here, I was just fine. And all of a sudden, I'm hoarse. My throat is dry. I had to restart probably 5 or 6 times. But, I just rebuked Satan in the name of Jesus, because I'm going to get this word out no matter what, okay? So, yeah, I just want to share with you the dream. I'm going to read it to you first, and then, as per usual, I will kind of break it down a little bit. So, on July the 24th, 7:29 a.m., I dreamed of a backyard night rally outside a house. And in quotations, I say, Biden and some people were in this house, and a witch was purring hexes and word curses over people while walking through in black. Didn't realize till later, watching a playback after having what I thought was a panic attack. I just remember looking up at a sky. It was a moon, another round thing, which was another moon or a planet, and a half rainbow reflection around it through the night clouds. I looked at it and everything seemed to spin, and I hit the ground. I tried to get up and walk, but I fell again, the same effect. I crawled over to Mom, and with blurry vision, I called for her and went over to her lap. I cried. A mother with her kids next to us said, she's not afraid or ashamed to put her arms around her mom. That's beautiful. And she and my mother both rubbed my back as I cried and tried to get it together. I said, I had an anxiety attack. But then we watched a playback, and I noticed once somebody said something about Biden losing and laughed, she got mad and walked through with lips moving. I said, wait, rewind that. And we watched her in slow motion, murmuring curses. You could see a faint light flash over my face, and I looked up, and that's when it all happened. I told the lady's children, see, witchcraft is real. That's why it's important to know Jesus. Okay, so excuse me, because the print is really tiny, and I haven't read this since I wrote it. So let me kind of recap a little. So at this night rally, like I said, my dreams are very detailed. So at this rally, it was at night. I could see, I'm watching. At first, I was experiencing the dream, and then I was pulled out of the dream and was watching it from up high. And that happens a lot. So when I was in the dream, let's say like a movie, I was a character. I was dressed in, let's not go there yet, because I don't know what I was dressed in. I couldn't see myself at the time, but I could see we were in a yard, and there were people, like families out, and they had like lawn chairs, and people were cooking out and talking, just families, like you would have like a rally or a cookout or something for a councilman or a mayor or something. So in the middle of the yard, there was this house like building, and in the window, I could see across the yard, I could see in the window I saw the silhouette of Joe Biden and someone else in there talking to him. But I just literally saw his silhouette like he was a dark shadow. But I knew in the spirit that it was him, and he was in there talking to someone. So as I'm looking through the window, I'm looking around and observing the people, and I noticed there are some ladies in there. I knew in the spirit that they were all mothers in this one particular section. They were dressed in red dresses, almost like a costume, and it was like the almost like the old maiden dresses where they were fitted up top. They were all kind of like lace or something, and they were long and flowing. And they were sitting in the lawn chairs side by side, a couple of the mothers, and but most of the people were dressed in either red or black. And so there were some little girls sitting down in front of their mothers playing on the grass and stuff. So I look over there, and after looking around and like literally panning the scene, seeing Joe Biden in the building, seeing the people communicating with each other and cooking out, and just it really looked like a good time, a family time. When I see my mother and the other mothers, I walk over. I'm trying to walk over to my mom. As I'm walking, I get dizzy, and all of a sudden, I just go like this. I fell completely down, and not only did I just fall, I fell on my back. And so I rolled over, and it's as if there was a weight on my entire backside. Imagine if someone placed a big magnet on your back, the whole backside of your body, and every time you tried to go right upside, your body would flip back down, and that magnet would stick you to the earth. So that's what would happen. I fell over. I tried to roll over and get on my feet and crawl, but as soon as I begin to crawl, I fall right back over. And each time I could look up and I could see my mother's dress, but faintly. And so I was becoming desperate at the time, and I began to crawl a little bit further, and it was such a struggle to stay upright. To the last time when I fell over, I remember when I fell over again, I could see there was a moon, and then there was another moon beside it, and then there was like these were the two moons, right? There was one here, one here. It was really big. This was a smaller one, and there was a rainbow like halfway around, glowing in the clouds around that moon. But it was so clear, like I could really see it. And I remember seeing that while I was lying on the ground. That was the clearest thing I saw. So I rolled over again and tried to, but in this time, instead of getting on my hands and knees, I started to army crawl and try to pull my body over to my mother. And I got close enough that she could see me, and I reached out for her, and I started crying. And so somehow I finally made it to her lap, and I laid my head on her lap, and I just held on to her tight, and I started crying profusely because I thought I was having a panic attack. I didn't know what was going on. And that's when the mother said what she said to her daughter. She was like, see, she's not afraid or ashamed to put her arms around her mother. And she said, that's beautiful. She was explaining to her daughters that it's okay to be affectionate with your mom. Okay, immediately after that mother said that, I was pulled out, like out of the dream. And I could see myself ascending from my actual, like where I'm at right there. My body is laying on my mother's lap. I'm up watching from up high, like I'm maybe watching from a tree, for example. And as I'm watching, I see everything from up high that's going on, and everything rewinded from the beginning. And I saw the building. I could see Joe Biden inside the building and someone talking to him. He was standing still and his mouth was moving. And even though he was a dark shadow, I knew in the spirit that it was him 100%, and that there were people all around him, but he was inside. He never came out the building. Then again, I panned the scene and I could see all the people around. Everyone was in black or red or white and black or whatever. I was the only one that had on all white. I had on the same kind of dress, almost like the mothers. It was this all white lace dress. It was fitted up top, and it was flowy from the waist down. And I see the people walking, and now at this point, I see myself standing over here around, like through a crowd, and someone said something about Joe Biden losing, and they begin to laugh at him. Once they began to laugh at him, at the same time that happened, there was a lady that was dressed in an all black dress, similar to the other ladies, but the difference is hers was all black. It came up to her neck. It was full lace. It came all the way to the ends of her hands. And she had this weird hat. It was like round, but it had a little teeny point or box thing. It was like it was something from another era, like back in the day. And it had the lace strap that went over the top of that point and went down under her chin, and that's where it was tied. And it had almost like a veil on the back of it that went over her dress. Well, at the same time, I saw the person say what they said about Biden losing. They laughed. She walks behind me. As she walks behind me, I could see her walking through the people that were talking about Joe Biden, right? I'm sorry, I just had to rewind because I can go randomly all over the place sometimes. So she's walking behind the people, walking through the crowd. As she's walking through the crowd, her lips are murmuring. She's just going. I could see her, and I knew in the spirit that she was doing chanting and speaking word curses over people. I didn't have to question everything. The Lord just allowed me to see, know, and have all understanding of everything that was going on in that moment. She was speaking curses, walking around through these people. And it seemed like she was infuriated by that. And when she got to me, she did something like this, and a light flashed from behind me quickly, like poof. And when it did, I went down. And when I went down, I began to see myself start to crawl. And in that moment, I started to go back down into where I was, and I woke up. So that might have seemed like a lot, but I just say just pray about this. I really believe that the Lord is trying to warn us about something. And I noticed that with this party, there has been a lot of word curses actually spoken. Like if you look at some of the public speeches that they've held in the past 2 years, there were some curses that were spoken. And I literally, when I hear something like that, I know, look, just like when you receive a package from the mailman, if it's not yours, you return back to sender. Okay, so I'm not going to just accept anything that you say to me. And when I hear things being spoken through my television in my home, I immediately go, no, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. And I bind it and I turn it off. I turn away from it because I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to receive that in my spirit. And I've seen a lot of this going on with these speeches and at some of these rallies. And there's a lot of bitterness and vengeful spirits, you know. There's a whole lot demonic that's going on in politics right now. And with the media and entertainment in general. That's something to discuss another day. But I will say, be careful what you receive into your spirit. You know, protect your gates, what you hear, what you watch, what you eat. Okay? Pray about all these things. But I pray that the Lord blesses you and keeps you. And I ask you to pray for this man and this party because, like I said, God can do some amazing things, even when they seem impossible. And pray for protection over your family. You know, if you've been to any of these events and everything, just definitely pray about that, okay? Ask the Lord to reveal to you if there's anything that He wants you to know. So, yeah, just pray. Constantly be in prayer. Constantly be in your word. Seek God for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? And I love you, and God bless you. Have a good night.